The message came on a quiet Tuesday morning. Screens worldwide lit up with the same transmission. A peaceful greeting from an advanced alien civilization called the Wardens. They appeared humanoid but taller, with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer like liquid metal. Their message was simple. They wanted to welcome humanity into the galactic community. For 3 days, the world celebrated. Scientists, leaders, and common people alike shared in the joy of knowing we weren't alone. The Wardens promised to share their technology, their knowledge, and their resources. They spoke of lifting humanity to new heights among the stars. Tom Baker, working at the Deep Space Listening Station in Nevada, was the first to notice something wrong. The Warden ships weren't positioning themselves for diplomatic contact as promised. Instead, they were forming a grid pattern around Earth, like a net waiting to close. "Sir, you need to see this," Tom called to his supervisor, showing him the radar displays. But it was already too late. The attack began at dawn on the 4th day. The Warden ships released a high-pitched sound that shattered windows and disrupted electronic systems worldwide. Their energy weapons targeted major cities first, turning skyscrapers into dust and reducing technological centers to ash. They were methodical, precise, and terrifyingly efficient. The world's military forces tried to fight back. Fighter jets scrambled into the sky, missiles launched from submarines, and ground-based weapons fired at the alien ships. But nothing seemed to affect the Wardens' advanced shields. They continued their systematic destruction while broadcasting a single message on repeat. Humanity has been deemed too dangerous for integration. This is a necessary quarantine procedure. Resistance will only prolong the inevitable. In Washington, D.C., the president and key officials managed to escape through underground tunnels just minutes before the White House was reduced to rubble. Similar scenes played out in capitals worldwide as government leaders went into hiding or perished in the initial assault. But the Wardens weren't just destroying buildings and infrastructure. They targeted libraries, museums, data centers, and universities with special weapons that erased digital information. They weren't just trying to defeat humanity. They were trying to erase human knowledge and culture from existence. In London, the British Museum's entire collection turned to dust under their weapons. In Egypt, the pyramids crumbled. In China, ancient temples collapsed. Humanity's greatest achievements were being systematically destroyed. Yet even in these darkest moments, people found ways to survive. Underground subway systems became makeshift shelters. Old bomb shelters from previous wars were reopened. Mining complexes and deep cave systems filled with refugees. The very places the Wardens considered primitive became humanity's salvation. In one such shelter, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a group of survivors gathered around a battery-powered radio. They listened as the reports of destruction grew fewer and farther between. Cities fell silent one by one. The internet went dark. Cell phone networks crashed. The world as they knew it was ending above them. But in that dark shelter, lit only by emergency lights, something remarkable happened. A young engineer named Robert started writing down everything he could remember about modern technology. A history teacher began reciting important dates and events to anyone who would listen. A librarian who had grabbed a tablet computer on her way to safety discovered it contained thousands of downloaded books. They weren't just hiding, they were preserving. While the Wardens destroyed humanity's past above ground, these survivors began the crucial work of saving what knowledge they could. By the end of the first week, nearly every major city on Earth lay in ruins. The Wardens, satisfied with their work, pulled back to establish a blockade around the planet. They believed they had successfully quarantined a dangerous species and erased its ability to threaten the galaxy. They didn't realize that deep underground, scattered across the globe in thousands of hidden pockets, humanity wasn't just surviving. They were planning. The Wardens thought they had destroyed humanity's greatest strength, its accumulated knowledge and culture. Instead, they had forced humanity to protect and value that knowledge more than ever before. The fall of human civilization had ended, but in the darkness underground, something new was about to begin. 3 months after the fall, The survivors beneath the Rocky Mountains had turned their shelter into something remarkable. Professor James Miller stood in what they now called the Knowledge Chamber, watching people work. The large cave, once a simple mining storage area, had become humanity's most precious library. Every wall was covered with handwritten papers detailing everything from basic engineering principles to complex physics theories. People wrote on anything they could find: old cardboard boxes, pieces of wood, even smooth cave walls. They couldn't risk digital storage. The wardens had ways of detecting and destroying electronic devices. "Professor, we found another group," said Robert, rushing into the chamber. He was covered in dirt from exploring the old mining tunnels. About 50 people in an old bunker 10 miles east. They'd got 3 scientists from the particle physics lab with them. Miller nodded, making a note in his worn leather journal. Their network was growing. Using the old mining tunnels and natural cave systems, they had connected with 6 other groups of survivors in the past month alone. Each new group brought more knowledge, more skills, and more hope. In another section of their underground home, now dubbed New Haven, children sat in circles while teachers wrote math equations on slate boards. Miller had insisted that education continue. "We're not just hiding," he would say. "We're rebuilding." The food situation was better than expected. The survivors had turned several large caves into hydroponic gardens using salvaged equipment and knowledge from a farmer in their group. The soft glow of UV lights, powered by carefully hidden generators, helped grow enough food to feed everyone. But their most important project was happening in the deepest part of New Haven. In a chamber they called the think tank, Miller and a team of scientists worked on understanding the warden's technology. They had managed to salvage pieces of a destroyed warden ship during the chaos of the first attack. "Look at this," Miller said, holding up a strange crystalline device under a light. "Their technology isn't as advanced as they want us to think. It's just different. They use quantum principles we theorized about decades ago, but in ways we never considered." The real breakthrough came when Lisa, a quantum computing researcher, made a stunning discovery. "The warden's tech is actually based on outdated quantum theories," she explained to the group. "They found one way to make it work and just stopped looking for better solutions. But human scientists had already developed more advanced theories. We just hadn't built the hardware yet." The implications were huge. Humanity hadn't been as far behind as the wardens thought. In some ways, human theoretical work had already surpassed them. They just needed time to turn theory into reality. Word spread through the tunnel network. Other bunkers began reporting similar findings. A group in the Urals had salvaged different pieces of warden technology. Another group beneath the Alps had preserved crucial research data. Slowly, a plan began to form. But the work wasn't just about technology. In every survivor bunker, people worked to preserve human culture. They told stories, sang songs, performed plays from memory. They drew art on cave walls, taught traditional dances, and kept human creativity alive. "The wardens thought they could erase who we are," Miller told the gathered survivors one evening. "They destroyed our cities, our monuments, our digital records. But they didn't understand that humanity isn't stored in our buildings or our computers. It's stored in us, in our minds, our memories, our determination to survive." As he spoke, the sound of children laughing echoed through the tunnels. In another chamber, someone was playing a salvaged guitar. The smell of cooking food wafted from the communal kitchen. Life continued, adapted, and in some ways, grew stronger. Underground, humanity was doing more than surviving. They were learning, growing, and preparing. The wardens thought they had contained a primitive species. Instead, they had created the perfect environment for humanity to focus, innovate, and evolve. And deep in the think tank, the first prototype of a new kind of quantum device was taking shape, one that would change everything. 1 year into humanity's forced exodus underground, Professor Miller stood staring at the strange device on the workbench. It was a hybrid of salvaged warden technology and human innovation. a quantum core that shouldn't have been possible according to the warden's understanding of physics. "Run the test again," Miller said, his voice tense with anticipation. The team had been working on this project for 6 months, combining human theoretical physics with reverse-engineered warden technology. Lisa adjusted the controls while Robert monitored the energy readings. The device hummed softly, its crystal core glowing with a blue-green light that was distinctly different from the harsh purple of pure warden tech. "Energy level stable," Robert reported, checking the gauges they'd built from salvaged parts. "Quantum field is forming. And it's holding. Professor, it's actually holding." The room erupted in quiet cheers. Even now, they were careful about making too much noise. What they had achieved was remarkable. While the wardens used brute force to manipulate quantum states, the human device used a more elegant approach based on theoretical work done years before the invasion. "Send the message," Miller ordered, and Lisa typed a short sequence into their jury-rigged control panel. The quantum core pulsed, sending information through space in a way the wardens had deemed impossible for primitive humans to achieve. In another chamber 3 miles away, a receiver they'd built lit up with the incoming message. It was just 3 words: "Humanity lives on." The implications were staggering. They had created a quantum communication system that was not only more efficient than the warden's technology, but also undetectable to their scanning systems. It operated on principles the wardens had never explored. They got too comfortable, Lisa explained during the team meeting that evening. The wardens found one way to manipulate quantum states and stopped looking for alternatives. But humans, we never stopped theorizing, questioning, imagining different possibilities. The success sparked a flurry of new innovations. Using the principles they discovered, the team began developing other hybrid technologies. They found ways to enhance power generation, improve their hidden manufacturing capabilities, and even experiment with new forms of quantum computing. Through their growing tunnel network, they shared their findings with other survivor communities. Each group added their own insights and improvements. The old mining tunnels became highways of knowledge, with runners carrying encrypted notes between settlements. But their greatest discovery came unexpectedly. While testing the quantum core's limits, they detected something strange: a resonance with the Earth's magnetic field. Further experiments revealed that they could use this resonance to mask their activities from the warden's orbital sensors completely. "It's like we found a blind spot in their vision," Robert explained to the gathered council of survivor leaders. "They're so focused on looking for technology that works like theirs, they literally cannot see what we're building." The breakthrough changed everything. Under the protection of their quantum shield, they could begin expanding their operations. They could build larger facilities, conduct more extensive experiments, and even start planning for something they hadn't dared dream of before: a way to reach the stars themselves. Miller stood in the think tank late that night, watching the quantum core pulse with its peaceful blue-green light. He thought about how the wardens had tried to erase human knowledge, believing that would stop human progress. Instead, they had created conditions that forced humanity to innovate beyond anything they might have achieved otherwise. A young apprentice entered the chamber, carrying a new set of calculations. "Professor," she said, "the teams in Europe and Asia have replicated our results. They're ready to begin Phase 2. Miller nodded, allowing himself a small smile. The wardens had tried to erase humanity, but they had failed to understand a fundamental truth about human nature. Under pressure, humans didn't break. They transformed. Like carbon into diamonds, the pressure had forced them to become something harder, stronger, and more brilliant than before. The discovery phase was ending. It was time to begin building something greater than anything the wardens could imagine. 2 years after the fall, the underground had changed beyond recognition. What began as scattered survival bunkers had evolved into an intricate network of hidden cities, all connected by the new quantum communication system humanity had created. In New Haven's central command room, Miller watched as another light blinked on the massive wall map. Each light represented a survivor community that had successfully integrated the new quantum network. The latest addition was a group operating from beneath the Australian outback. That makes 312 connected communities, Robert said, updating their logs. And each one is now developing technology the wardens can't detect. The quantum network was unlike anything that had existed before. It allowed instant communication between all connected communities, completely invisible to warden scanning technology. But it did more than just carry messages. It shared knowledge, processing power, and even energy in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics as the wardens understood them. Deep in the manufacturing sectors, 3D printers built using hybrid technology worked day and night. They could create components atom by atom, producing materials stronger and more advanced than anything humans had made before the invasion. The quantum network regulated these printers, ensuring each community could produce what they needed. "We're not just surviving anymore," Lisa said during a council meeting. "We're thriving. Every day, we're pushing the boundaries of what's possible." The network isn't just a communication tool. It's becoming almost like a living thing, growing and evolving with us. She was right. The network had developed in unexpected ways. Communities could share not just information, but experiences. Scientists could collaborate in virtual spaces, working together as if they were in the same room. Artists could share their creations instantly across the globe, keeping human culture alive and growing. Above ground, the wardens continued their patrol, believing they had successfully contained a primitive species. Their sensors showed them what they expected to see: a devastated planet with scattered groups of survivors barely managing to feed themselves. They never detected the quantum pulses that carried humanity's renaissance. In education chambers across the network, children learned in ways never before possible. They could access the combined knowledge of all connected communities. They could experience virtual recreations of Earth's lost wonders. The museums, libraries, and monuments the wardens had destroyed. "Watch this," a young teacher named Mark said to his class, activating a quantum projection. The chamber filled with a perfect recreation of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. "We're not just remembering our past, we're preserving it, sharing it, making it part of our future." The network also revealed something unexpected about human potential. As more minds connected and collaborated through the quantum link, new ideas emerged faster than ever before. Problems that might have taken years to solve were being resolved in days or even hours. "It's like we've created a giant shared consciousness," Lisa explained to Miller. "Not in a scary loss of individuality way, but in a way that lets us work together better than ever before. The network enhances our natural creativity and problem-solving abilities." One day, while monitoring network traffic, Robert noticed something extraordinary. The quantum fields they had created were starting to influence the physical world in subtle ways. The network wasn't just carrying information, it was changing the very fabric of reality around their hidden cities. "Look at these readings," he showed Miller. "The quantum field is creating micro-adjustments in space-time. It's like the network is carving out safe spaces for us to exist in, spaces the wardens can't perceive." Miller studied the data with growing excitement. They had built something far beyond a simple communication system. They had created a new layer of reality, one where humanity could grow and develop beyond the warden's ability to detect or understand. As he watched another light blink on the map, Miller realized they had achieved something the wardens had never imagined possible. They hadn't just preserved humanity. They had transformed it into something new, something greater. And soon, very soon, they would be ready to show the wardens exactly what they had become. 3 years after the fall, humanity had evolved far beyond what anyone could have imagined. In a massive chamber deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, the first human-built starship took shape. It looked nothing like the wardens' vessels. Instead of harsh angles and metallic surfaces, it had smooth, organic curves that seemed to flow like water frozen in time. "The quantum core is stable," Lisa reported, checking the readings on their advanced monitoring systems. "The ship's hull is responding perfectly to the field adjustments. It's actually adapting itself at the molecular level." The vessel, nicknamed Phoenix, represented everything humanity had achieved in secret. Its hull was made of a new material that could repair itself using principles learned from studying human cell biology. The quantum drive at its heart was far more advanced than anything the Wardens possessed, capable of manipulating space-time in ways they had never conceived. Miller walked around the ship, running his hand along its smooth surface. The material felt warm to the touch, almost alive. "We've gone beyond just copying or improving their technology," he said. "We've created something entirely new." In workshops and laboratories throughout the underground network, similar advances were being made in every field. Medical researchers had developed treatments using quantum fields to heal at the cellular level. Engineers had created manufacturing processes that could restructure matter itself. Physicists had unlocked secrets about the universe that the Wardens, for all their supposed advancement, had never discovered. "Look at this," Robert said, showing Miller the latest data from their quantum sensors. "We're not just hiding from their scans anymore. Our technology has evolved to the point where we exist in a slightly different phase of reality. To their instruments, we're literally not here." The network had evolved too. What started as a communication system had become a vast, living web of quantum connections linking all of humanity. Through it, people could share not just information but actual experiences, learning and growing together in ways never before possible. In one of the education chambers, a group of children was learning advanced physics through direct neural interface, their minds connected to the network in a way that let them actually see and feel how quantum particles behaved. They understood concepts that had baffled scientists for generations. "They're the first generation of true quantum humans," Lisa observed, watching the children learn. "They don't just use this technology. They think in quantum terms naturally. They see possibilities we never imagined." The biggest breakthrough came when they discovered how to manipulate gravity itself. It wasn't through brute force like the Warden's ships used, but through subtle adjustments to the quantum field that permeated all space. The discovery made their ships not only more efficient but nearly impossible to detect. One day, during a routine scan of the Warden's communication frequencies, they intercepted something interesting. The Wardens were puzzled by strange readings they were getting from Earth. Their sensors showed energy patterns they couldn't explain, but every time they investigated, they found nothing. "They can't understand what we've become," Robert laughed. "They're looking for technology that works like theirs, but we've evolved beyond that. We're not just using quantum mechanics, we're living it." In the ship construction chamber, Miller watched as workers installed the final components of the Phoenix. Soon, they would be ready for their first test flight. But this wasn't just about building a ship. It was about proving that humanity could not only survive but thrive under the harshest conditions. "We did more than preserve our knowledge," Miller said to the gathered team. "We transformed it into something greater." The Wardens thought they were containing a primitive species, but they actually forced us to evolve faster than we ever would have on our own. As if in response, the quantum core of the Phoenix pulsed with a soft blue light, its energy field harmonizing with the network that connected all of humanity. They had built something greater than just technology. They had created a new way of existing. And soon, very soon, the Wardens would learn just how much humanity had evolved. The first confrontation between the new humanity and the Wardens began not with a battle, but with a simple disappearance. One of the Wardens' patrol ships detected an anomaly, a hole in their sensor network above the Rocky Mountains. When they moved to investigate, they found something impossible. A ship unlike anything they had ever seen, hovering silently in the air. The Phoenix hung in the morning sky, its quantum-enhanced hull shimmering with patterns that seemed to bend light itself. 3 Warden vessels surrounded it, their weapons primed. But when they tried to scan the human vessel, their sensors couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. "They're attempting to communicate," Lisa reported from her station inside the Phoenix. The quantum core hummed softly, keeping them in a state that existed somewhere between normal space and the quantum realm. Miller, standing on the bridge of humanity's first new starship, nodded. "Let them see us. It's time they learned what they really did to humanity. The Phoenix's quantum field shifted, allowing the Wardens to perceive them fully for the first time. The alien ships recoiled in surprise. Their scans showed technology that shouldn't have been possible, energy patterns that defied their understanding of physics. A transmission came from the lead Warden ship. "This technology is not possible. Your species was contained. Explain yourselves." Miller stepped forward. Through the quantum network linking all of humanity, millions watched through his eyes as he responded. "You tried to erase us. Instead, you forced us to rebuild, to evolve. What you see is only the beginning." To demonstrate, the Phoenix performed a series of maneuvers that the Wardens had believed impossible. It phased through solid matter, shifted between different quantum states, and moved in ways that ignored conventional physics. The Warden ships tried to track it, but their sensors couldn't keep up. "Impossible," the Warden transmission repeated. "Your species was primitive. This level of advancement cannot exist." In response, Miller activated the ship's quantum projection system. Around each Warden vessel, holograms appeared showing the underground cities, the quantum network, the new technologies humanity had developed. They watched as humans manipulated matter at the quantum level, as children learned to think in 5 dimensions, as the network itself evolved into something beyond normal space and time. The Warden ships went silent for several long moments. When they finally responded, their tone had changed. "How? How did you achieve this?" "You gave us no choice," Miller explained. "By trying to destroy our civilization, you forced us to rebuild it better. By trying to erase our knowledge, you made us value it more than ever. You thought you were containing a threat, but you were actually creating something new." More Warden ships arrived, drawn by the impossible readings they were detecting from Earth. They watched in astonishment as more human vessels emerged from hiding, each one demonstrating capabilities that went beyond anything in known space. The quantum network hummed with activity as humanity prepared for whatever came next. But they weren't preparing for war. They had evolved beyond the need for conventional conflict. They had learned to exist in ways the Wardens couldn't even comprehend. "Your civilization faces a choice," Miller transmitted to the gathered Warden fleet. "You can continue to fear what's different, to try to contain what you don't understand. Or you can learn to grow, to evolve, to see the universe in new ways." The Phoenix hovered between Earth and the Warden fleet, its quantum field pulsing with possibilities. In that moment, both civilizations stood at a crossroads. The Wardens had to face the fact that their attempt to contain humanity had instead created something far beyond their control or understanding. And humanity, watching through the quantum network that connected them all, waited to see if their former oppressors could learn the lesson they had been forced to learn. That true strength comes not from destroying what you fear, but from embracing the possibility of change. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The final chapter of humanity's transformation began with a choice. After the revelation of humanity's evolution, the Warden civilization faced a decision that would reshape the galaxy. Their council debated for days while their ships maintained an uneasy watch over Earth's orbit, where hundreds of advanced human vessels now hovered peacefully. Miller stood on the Phoenix's observation deck, watching the Warden ships through the quantum field. The past few days had seen more alien vessels arrive from across the galaxy, drawn by news of humanity's impossible advancement. Representatives from other civilizations came to witness what many had thought impossible, a quarantine species that had transcended its containment. "They're ready to respond," Lisa announced, monitoring the quantum communications. The network that connected all of humanity hummed with anticipation. This moment would determine not just humanity's future, but the course of galactic civilization. The Warden's Supreme Council appeared as a hologram in the space between their fleets. Their once confident demeanor had been replaced by something new, uncertainty, and perhaps a hint of wonder. "We have witnessed what your species has become," the Warden leader declared. "You have achieved what we thought impossible. Our attempt to contain you has instead revealed our own limitations." Miller stepped forward, His response carried by the quantum field. Then let us show you a different way. Humanity has learned that true advancement comes not from controlling or destroying, but from adapting and growing. We offer to share what we've learned. The offer shocked the gathered alien civilizations. According to galactic protocol, an advanced species never shared its technology with those it had tried to destroy. But humanity had evolved beyond such simple concepts of revenge. In the days that followed, the first groups of alien scientists and scholars were invited into humanity's underground cities. They witnessed children manipulating quantum fields as naturally as breathing. They saw the living network that connected all human minds while preserving their individuality. They observed manufacturing processes that created materials that could think and adapt. Your species hasn't just advanced technologically, one alien observer noted. You've evolved into something entirely new. You exist in harmony with quantum mechanics itself. Humanity began sharing their discoveries, but not as conquerors or even teachers, as partners in evolution. The quantum network was gradually extended to include other willing species, creating bridges of understanding across the galaxy. The Wardens, faced with the choice between obsolescence and evolution, chose to learn. Their civilization began a painful but necessary transformation, guided by the very species they had tried to erase. Miller walked through New Haven one last time before its relocation to the surface. The underground cities had served their purpose, sheltering humanity during its darkest hours and nurturing its transformation. Now they would become museums, reminders of how adversity had forced humanity to transcend its limitations. We did more than survive, he told a gathering of human and alien students. We proved that the greatest response to destruction is not revenge, but creation. We built something greater than what was lost. The quantum network continued to evolve, becoming a bridge not just between minds, but between different ways of existing. Humanity had discovered that consciousness itself could exist in multiple states, that reality was far more flexible than anyone had imagined. As the last underground city was opened to the surface, humanity emerged not as conquerors or victims, but as pioneers of a new way of existing. They had transcended beyond simple technological advancement into a new state of being, showing the galaxy that evolution wasn't just about survival, it was about transformation. The Wardens' attempt to erase humanity had instead created something they could never have imagined. A civilization that had learned to exist in harmony with the quantum nature of the universe itself. Humanity had built something greater than anyone thought possible, and in doing so, they had changed not just themselves, but the future of all intelligent life in the galaxy. As the sun set on this new era, the quantum network pulsed with the combined consciousness of multiple species, all learning, growing, and evolving together. Humanity had not just survived, they had shown the galaxy a new way to live.